Welcome back to the Morning Orchard on Cherrytree Radio. That was a double shot from Disclosure. That was Latch followed by White Noise, both from the album Settle, coming out this Tuesday, June 4th. And we've got a big surprise. We actually have the guys from Disclosure right here with us on Cherrytree Radio.
Yo.
Welcome, guys.
Hey, man. How's it going?
How's it going with you guys? It's going great here.
Very good, thanks.
Great.
Yeah, really good.
Man, you're right here in Los Angeles at Cherrytree. We're so happy to have you and have your album on the label, and so excited about the upcoming release. How do you feel about it?
The same. Yeah, really
same,
excited.
Man. It's cool walking around the offices, seeing like the face everywhere, stuck on people's photos.
Yeah, I actually wore it to a meeting.
Really? Yeah, it's cool, man. Yeah, it's all looking really positive, yeah.
That's awesome. And can you tell us, I mean, I want to get to the bottom of how you develop the sound, and insofar as you feel comfortable, because there are references to deep house music and electronic music, and I'm from Michigan, so I always feel like there's a lot of deference to Detroit and Chicago in your music.
Yeah.
I'm really attracted to all that. How did you concoct that? How did you create that?
Yeah, so we got into producing, and just listening to dance music in about 2008, 2009. I was starting to go out clubbing, like in around London and Brighton as well, with my friends, because I just turned like 18. Howard's only 15, so he wasn't really coming out of me at that point, because I was quite young. And so yeah, I was going out, and I was hearing dubstep everywhere, basically, like Scream and Banger, just Mala and all that kind of proper what dubstep like was. It's not really what it is anymore, but yeah, I was hearing that, and yeah, that was really good fun to go out and hear. But I never went home to Howard and I was like, oh, we should make some dubstep, because it just wasn't really our thing, I don't think. But yeah, then I started going to a few different nights where it was more house driven, still at 140 BPM, but it wasn't dubstep. It wasn't like what.
Were they playing older music, or were they playing?
No, it was all the stuff that was happening like then and there, and that's the thing, because that's what we were hearing, and that's what I started showing Howard. It was like James Blake and Mount Kimby and Joy Orbison, things like that. So that's basically our entry point where we started to think we should make something like this. So yeah, it wasn't really till kind of more like 2010, 2011 where we started, looking more into, I wonder where those guys get their influences from, and why they're making the sound they're making, because I've never heard anything like this before, so why has it ended up like that? And then, yeah, inevitably that just leads you back to Detroit techno, Chicago house, and UK garage as well, or two-step, as you guys call it, I think. Don't know. And yeah, just that leads to buying, loads and loads of records and just trying to learn all about it, basically. And that's basically where we're at with this album. It's just us writing music like we've always written it, plus working with vocalists and trying to write, pop structured songs with verses and choruses, but in the style of house and two-step.
Where did the pop influence come from?
I'd say that's more just what we grew up with. Like, our parents are into a lot of kind of 70s and 80s pop and soul. So we were always played that around the house, like, Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder and stuff. I mean, they kind of got us into playing instruments. They didn't really teach us to write music. That was never really a thing, but they got us to kind of learn to play songs, which kind of made us actively listen to music in a very different way, to kind of listen to the individual parts and like chord changes and stuff that you wouldn't listen to just for pleasure.
How did you get into performing? Because one of the things that's really arresting about your show, and we've seen it at Ultra now and at South by Southwest, and we saw the shows in New York and Coachella where you closed the festival. You guys are out there playing instruments, and you're really good. I mean, what was your entry point into being instrumentalists?
I started playing the drums when I was about 3 or 4. I used to get like all the pots and pans out of my kitchen and scats. Yeah, like I think my mum just got a bit sick of it, to be honest. So she's just like, "I was going to buy you a drum kit and end this madness." And then I just did all like my grades and stuff with that, and I used to teach drums a bit as well, like in my local music shop, just to like fully grown adults, even though I was about 16, which was interesting. and yeah, Howard's similar. Like, he's played bass and piano, and so yeah, there was just always instruments lying around the house. Like, our mum plays piano and sings, our dad plays guitar and sings. Both been in bands and done music professionally like their whole lives. They haven't been signed or anything, but they just made money off music as their careers. So yeah, it was always going to happen, like, in some way or another. But they never really, like I would say, they didn't really get us into songwriting. That was just a natural, not even like, it wasn't even a conscious decision. We just started messing. As soon as we got laptops, we just started messing around with making music. I think that's what happens to a lot of kids nowadays, because like 20, 30 years ago, to make music, you'd have to make a real effort, like, to commit yourself to buying a tape deck or like something like that, an actual thing. But when you buy a laptop, like, all you need to do is just like, you know, download a bit of software and you can just start making music. It's a lot easier and a lot more accessible. So I think that's why it started. Yeah, I think we just got a bit bored one day.
When you guys started playing live, did it start as a DJ set that you then integrated your instrument performance into it, or did you start playing instruments and then integrated the electronics?
They kind of both came about at the same time. Because I mean, when we put out our first 2 singles, we didn't really know what DJing even was. Like, we didn't know about having 2 decks or anything. Like, we kind of seen it how everyone does, like on TV or whatever, but we didn't really know how to mix at all. So like, we immediately thought, because people were asking us to do shows, like to play gigs, and we were like, well, what do you want us to do? What do you mean?
It was like, how do you play dance music to people?
Yeah,
we didn't know how to do it
because they obviously thought we could DJ, because like everyone just assumes that if you're a producer you can DJ. I don't know why, but so we had to kind of really learn to do that very quickly. But at the same time, we were like designing a live show, because we were like, well, bands play live shows. That's what we are, because we kind of didn't really see ourselves as producers as much as like a band that wrote songs, which is still how I see it.
Yeah, and that's what I love watching about you guys. I mean, the percussive stuff, and you play bass, and there's singing, and keyboard playing. I mean, it's really fun. That's what keeps it exciting and kind of unpredictable.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a lack of that in live dance music. Like, there's a lot of just kind of laptops, and you don't know what they're up to. Like, they could be doing loads of really impressive stuff, but you would have no idea, just because it looks like they're checking their Facebook.
That's the other thing I love about your setup is that flat table setup where you have all the instruments and we can clearly see you playing.
Yeah, and we've started like putting cameras around so people can like see on a screen behind us like exactly what part each of us are playing, and we've just tried to make it really obvious like what we're doing on stage. To people who aren't necessarily musicians, like they can, you know, if you see me hit a pad and then you hear a noise immediately, like you know what that is. It's not hard to decipher.
How did you guys come up with the very iconic mask motif that you've got on the album cover and on your, you know, materials, your posters and things like that?
We just used it for our first artwork for our first ever single, which came out in like 2010. We just needed some artwork, and like one of our managers just had a friend at art college, and she drew this face thing. We were like, yeah, that's cool. We'll use that if that's all right. And then it got to the second artwork for the second single and the third single, and we just didn't have any money to get new artwork, so we just kept using it and just changed all the colours around a bit, which we still do, like now, actually, to be fair. I've realised, even though we could easily, it's not lazy, because it's obviously become a thing now, but back then it was sheer like laziness and just like no money. So, and then, when we got our SoundCloud page, which, you have to have a little bit of artwork of each song, we can, just to make it look nice. I can't remember why I started doing it, but I just started pasting the face on pictures of things that I liked, or like iconic films, or just like hot girls and stuff like that. So, and it just became a thing, because blogs would start reposting those pictures. Like, every time you post a SoundCloud thing, it does that, and people started seeing it without even seeing the word disclosure, and they'd know what it was. When
we first started doing it, it wasn't like, we didn't think, right, this can be our brand and people are going to recognize us through this. We were just like, oh, that's pretty cool, let's put it on a red background. Like, it was
not that this was your intention, but it really lends itself to defacing other people's marketing material. Like, I've seen the face put on top of other people's faces. It's really funny. So, not encouraging anyone to do that, but also not discouraging anyone to doing it either.
There's loads around London and stuff now on people's adverts.
Right. We've seen it on the web too.
It's nice.
Now you guys are traveling around the world, right? As your album's coming out. What is the what's the most exciting part of that? Are you looking forward to seeing a certain place, or what's it like?
I mean, the traveling is obviously awesome. We get to meet loads of cool people and play some amazing shows like this. We've only done a small run on this little US tour, but just playing places like Sasquatch, which was like one of the most crazy crowds I've ever seen. Like, so much crowd surfing going on. There was like there was more people surfing than there were holding people up, which is impossible.
How's that possible?
People flying around,
levitating.
Obviously that's amazing. I think the thing with the album though that we're looking forward to is just like, it's just so nice that we've got it done. Like, we worked so hard towards it and spent so much time mixing it, because we did it all ourselves. That's the thing, because when you're like a singer or something, you have a load of producers working your album with you, and someone mixes it and someone masters it. But it's like, we've been with it like every step of the way. We wrote all the songs with the singers. Like, I mixed it all, and we went to the mastering session. We mastered it with the guy. It's like our thing. So it's like, can't wait for everyone to like, you know, hear it. And because like every compliment or whatever, any comment about it, it's like it's just like everything that we did. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I think it's in answer to your question though, yeah, it's like the most exciting thing is almost not knowing what a place is going to be like going to somewhere like, I mean, last year we played in Romania in Europe, like I don't even know what that is really, and like and like we went there and we played on top of this thing called the People's Palace, which is like, is it Khrushchev's house or someone?
No,
Ceausescu's house.
Ceausescu's old house. It's like the heaviest building in the world, second biggest building in the world, and like they've put a club on top of it. Now he's dead, and they're all partying on his house, saying "you." Basically, yeah.
How was the show?
Amazing,
crazy. Right?
Yeah, really, like kind of small, but just like they're like the first generation of kids who haven't been dictators. You know, they're the first generation of kids that can drink and party.
It was like a freedom party.
It was like the best, yeah. Just doing things like that is just
It's so exciting to hear you talk, because you've just talked about playing in Washington State and then playing in Romania.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we're super happy for you guys, man.
Yeah,
Congratulations on the album. We're really privileged to be able to put it out here in the U.S.
Thanks,
for you guys.
Thanks, man. Yeah, no.
And thanks for coming by to see us.
All good. Thanks for having us.
All right, Disclosure, everybody.
Yeah.